The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to MEFA's mini webinar on college admissions, researching colleges and building the college list. This is something new. We're trying to have mini webinars on multiple topics about the college admissions process. So keep us posted. Let us know if you like this new format. My name is Julie Shields-Rutina, and I am the Director of College Planning here at MEFA, and I'm happy to be your host. So to start, this slide talks about staying organized, and that's something that we just like to say right up front about the college process. It's a time in a student's life and in parents' lives, in family life that is extremely busy. There's so much going on, and there are so many pieces to the college admissions process that it's really good to have a way to keep track and keep parents informed and students informed, and it can be a communication tool for the two of you as well, for all of you as well. So this sheet that we can show you on this slide is something that you can download from the MEFA website called the College Application Manager. You can download this, print it out, and just write down all the schools that the student is thinking about, is visiting, is applying to, and collecting all of the information from the different colleges. All colleges have different deadlines for admission, and they have different requirements for the types of applications, as well as other requirements, recommendations, tests, all of that. And so it's very good to be able to have a way to keep track of everything so that that will make the whole process go smoother. You don't have to use this form. You could use a spreadsheet. You could use a big chalkboard in your kitchen, or I see that students these days have all kinds of great ways to manage things on their phones. So whatever you use, but just something to talk about staying organized. And then I also want to tell you about a great tool that MEFA has, which is our free student web portal called mefapathway.org. So students can go into mefapathway.org and create an account and really play around. It's very interactive, and they can take what are called skills and interest assessments. They can sort of play their little games that will then share and show them what are some of their skills, what are their goals, what are their interests, and then think about careers that might be best for them, that might be a good match, and they can really do some in-depth career exploration in this tool, and then in-depth college exploration as well. So they can then find colleges that might have these programs to lead to the careers that will take advantage of all of their skills and goals and all of that. So really a great interactive tool. Can't recommend it enough. There's also a wealth of financial aid and scholarship information here for students. So mefapathway.org. And here are some other websites that are great for researching colleges. So students can go and use any of these tools. And the way college searches work, and most of these work that way, is the student can go in and put some preferences in and say, okay, I would like to stay in New England to go to college, and I would like to go to a large university. And I'm interested, if so, I'm interested in being an engineer. And I am also interested in keeping up with maybe soccer as an activity. And then the searches narrow down and match colleges to the students' preferences. So that's basically how these work. And it's a really good way to just get started thinking about some colleges that they might be interested in attending. In fact, I think adults ask high school juniors a lot of questions like, oh, what do you think you're going to do? Where are you going to go to college? What type of a college do you want to go to? And many students, some students know what they want to do, and they've known it for a long time. You know, there are those students, but most students do not. Most students don't really have any idea as a junior, and they don't really know if they want to go to a large school or a small school or exactly what they want to do. So I just share that in that I think giving students these tools to play around and research in a fun way and supporting them on their journey to just learn a lot over the course of the year, I think is really great. And they really will gain a lot of knowledge and know a lot more 6 months from now, a year from now, as they begin to use these tools and learn and find out what they like. There's a blog post that we wrote on the MEFA website, and it's from a colleague who works at the College of the Holy Cross, and it's called The College Search and Comparing It to Buying a Couch, which sounds silly, but it just gives an analogy of how when you go to do anything that's new, you feel lost and you feel overwhelmed. But then over the course of learning and looking at a lot of colleges and looking at a lot of couches, you will gain a lot of knowledge and be able to have a much better idea of what you want. So I share that in that you can go to MEFA.org and you can go to the MEFA blog and search for college admissions buying a couch. And I think it's a great read to just give you some good thoughts about beginning this process with your student. So these are some of the things a student really should be thinking about when they're thinking about choosing a college. But again, these are things that they need to research slowly, and they'll get to know from college websites, from those searches that they'll do, and especially from visiting these campuses, which we'll talk about. But yeah, they do want to figure out, would they like to go to a large college or university where maybe they'll never get to know everyone, but it could even feel like a city, and there's a lot going on at all times, and they're always meeting new people over the 4 years. They might like that atmosphere better, or they might like a very small campus where when they go to the dining hall, they see friends every day, and by the end of the 4 years, they get to know most of the students on the campus. So they'll get a sense of what feels right for them after they visit a number of colleges. And they definitely want to apply to colleges that will be a good academic fit. So what that means is they want the students on that campus to be similar to who they are as a student. And they can find that out by looking at the college websites. Colleges have what's called a student profile that talks about the grade point averages and the test scores of the previous classes that attend that college. And then they'll also get a sense of that when they talk to students, when they visit the college as well. But students want to challenge themselves at college, but they want to be with students who are at a similar level to where they are in how they study and how they gain knowledge. So that's very important. And then things like, I'll pick these two together, campus culture and social climate. Those are things that they will really gain a lot of knowledge about by being on the campuses themselves. Just getting a sense of does it seem a little more business-like, or does it seem not so much, where people are really hanging out, sitting on the lawn, exploring ideas, or are there a lot of companies on campus and students doing activities more like that? Another example of that is, I think there's a lot of activism on most campuses because of the age of the students and students really wanting to be vocal and heard about things that are important to them in the world, but there might be more of that on some campuses than others, and it depends on how much a student wants that on a college campus or wants less or more of that. So that's something they can get the feel of from being on the campus. Activities Does a student have activities that they have done in high school that they'd like to continue in college? Just making sure that they'll be able to do that on a certain college campus. And if they do have a certain learning style and they know what works better, looking at things like class size. Do they like to have small, intimate discussions? And is that how they learn best in high school? Or would they rather be in a larger lecture hall, just taking it all in and doing more of their work independently? So those are the things they can think of. The others on the right, most colleges have options like study abroad programs, career and internship services, but those are good things to look into when they visit a college. An intended major may be important and it may not. If a student knows what they would like to study and what career they would like, well, then they have to make sure that the college has that. But many students don't know what they want to major in, and sometimes they change their major, so that, again, may not be as important for some students. So the key words here are students should keep an open mind to a number of institutions and really do a search broadly at first. And then over the course of junior year and summer and into senior year, they can really narrow the focus as they learn more about the colleges and where they would like to attend. Then they have to decide which colleges am I actually going to apply to. And the key is what they want to do for themselves is set themselves up to have options and choices in the spring of senior year. And so mostly they want to apply to colleges where they'll be admitted, so they'll have a lot of choices. And so those would be target schools where mostly they'll be admitted, not always, but there's a good chance of them being admitted. And so having done all of that research, they'll know what those target schools are that are probably good matches and good fit for them. But then they can also have other types of schools on their list. They can have reach schools, which are schools that may have an academic profile that is a little bit beyond what their high school academic profile is, but they can still apply if they fall in love with a school and they think that it would be a great place for them. They can apply, but just know that it's a reach. And also, they should have colleges on their list where they are fairly certain that they will get admitted, probable schools, and that they would know that from the academic profile and from visiting the college and talking with people. And they should also make sure that with that probable school, that one of those probable schools is also very affordable, whether that's a community college or a college that's closer to home that they can commute to. Again, making sure that they're leaving themselves the most options and choices for the spring of senior year when they have to make that decision. And finally, on this slide, I'll say that schools like the Ivy Leagues, very competitive institutions, for those schools, those colleges are a reach for every single student. They are a reach for every valedictorian. They are a reach for every student who received all A's in high school. Those colleges receive many more applications from totally qualified, superb applicants than they are able to fill seats. So just students need to know that if they're applying to schools at that level, they need to apply to more to make sure that they have options and choices. So more target schools in there. Now, net price calculators are a great tool for families that will help a family get a general sense of how affordable a college will be. So every college has a net price calculator. You just go to the website and type into the search function net price calculator, and then you'll put in information about finances and possibly about academics on some of them, and you will receive an estimate of a possible financial aid award that the student can receive at that institution. Now, it is an estimate. It's only as good as the information that goes in, so the more detailed the calculator, probably the more accurate the result. But this should just give you a sense of if something is possibly affordable, not affordable at all. I wouldn't make any hard and fast decisions based on the information on these estimates, but I think it's a good conversation starter with your students. So, for example, I told my student at one point that I had done a net price calculator for a college, and the information, the estimate of the financial aid that would be awarded that came back didn't seem like it was going to be very affordable for our family. So I didn't tell my student not to apply to that college, but I said, why don't you make sure you have a lot of other colleges on your list that you love, that you would be happy to go to. We'll see how it all shakes out in the spring with your admissions and with the finances. But this may not be able to happen based on this estimate, so let's make sure we have other choices and options. And really, a great way to get to know a college is to go in person. I know that's not always possible, but when you visit a campus in person, you just get a sense of things that you sometimes can't tell from the website or from social media. You can go on an informal visit, maybe to a sporting event or a theater production, or just to walk around campuses. But as a student gets to be a junior in high school, I think it's a good time to also make sure to do some formal visits. And you would do that through the admissions office. You could do it online or call the office and just set up a time. And colleges have numerous dates and times where they have information sessions and campus tours. And I think it's good to, as you're starting out, to do both. And go to the information sessions, ask a lot of questions, and take that tour. And you'll usually have an energetic student tour guide that you can ask all kinds of questions of, and that will share tons of information. And then after the tour, maybe go to the coffee shop and have a cup of coffee with your student. Look around, see what the students there are doing. Do they look happy and engaged? Pick up a student newspaper, look on the walls, on the bulletin boards about activities coming up. Coffee shop is usually a bustling place that gives you a sense of just social life on the campus. Now, it may not be possible to visit all colleges in person up front, but one great way to get to know some colleges that are far away is to attend a local college fair. So there are two websites here that we're sharing with you, NACAC and NEACAC, that have local college fairs where hundreds of colleges from all over the country come to one place. The NACAC fair happens over in the Seaport in Boston, and the NEACAC fairs are all over. And students can go and in a 2 or 3 hour period, walk around and talk to lots of admissions reps from the different colleges and get lots of information and share their information. It's really a wonderful way to get to know a wider range of colleges. And I will also say that because in this area, in Massachusetts, in New England, we have so many colleges close by, it's also nice for a student to just visit local colleges of different types in the city, in more rural areas, large, small. Make some visits to help the student get a sense of some of those factors in the type of school that they would like before you set on a trip across country to look at schools all over the place. If maybe they figure out, no, I really want a smaller campus. So then if you're going to take a college trip away, then you can focus on institutions that are more in line with what the student will like. So that's it for today, but please know that MEFA is going to do many of these mini webinars on all kinds of topics. Our website is a wealth of information, and you can always call us or email us with questions as you go through the process, and we're happy to help you all the way through. So good luck, and thank you for listening in today.